Do you guys like the Strike Force or the Uber weapon idea?
Strike Force.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
So, hands for Uber weapon first.
Yeah. Okay, it's not so split out.
Yeah, question?
Well, the thing is, another thing that comes to mind, why would the Vigil want to attack a crate? The Vigil's primary focus is the Elder Dragon, so what reason would they have to get involved?
Well, so that's a very good question. So, you want to go?
Sure.
Go for it.
Basically, if the crate is operating and taking on Hylek and taking on Quaggan, those are not resources that are available for the Vigil to use against the Orient. So by taking out the crate, by basically reducing the crate threat, they can basically get a lot more out of the Quaggan from the Hylek in the area.
Yeah.
So one of the natural things that we would do out of this chain, if we ended up tying the Vigil into it, is if you actually successfully destroyed the Crate City, we would start having friendly Hylek, friendly Quaggan actually going over, and they would head to the left side of the map and start helping defend those bases that the Orient.
Yeah, you'd probably see some Vigil. The Vigil would probably recruit from the area that
Or
they
a
get.
Quaggan merchant bringing stuff that's basically Quaggan oriented to that area, as
Yeah.
opposed to having to go all the way to their city.
Oh, one of the things, right? So things like Hylek and Quaggan, the Hylek supply poison and things
Yes.
like that. You could see Vigil with poison weapons and stuff like that a little bit more.
Okay.
These are, again, consequences to these events. So, okay. So we have Vigil super weapon. So this is the point, actually. So this is one of the things I talked about was our sort of realities of designing things. So we talked about before, we don't have underwater animations for every single race in our game because, frankly, many of them are not going to go underwater, and there are only so many animations we can afford to produce and load into memory and all of that. And so this is one of the things that we always have to take into account when we have somebody go underwater or not go underwater. Is there an animation for that? As Jeff is so famous for saying in our meetings. That sort of thing. And so we also have to take into account things like, so we say Vigil super weapon. So us being designers, we have a certain amount of imagination, but at this point, when we have something like a super weapon, what we tend to do is we say, okay, it's a super weapon, it doesn't really matter what it is at this point. What we would do then is we'd go get some artists involved.
Right.
And we'd go get some of our, obviously you guys know how awesome our artists are. And a lot of times what'll happen is they'll come up with something
Even bigger.
Even bigger, yes. Like things tend to grow in scope when we get them in. But so this is actually probably, maybe we should leave it both for time constraints and because this is probably how we'd actually do it. Let's just say Vigil establish base and build super weapon, and we'll leave it up to our artists to determine what that super weapon is.
Okay.
It may very well be. It might be a giant golem.
It could be
Never know. We
giant walrus
might
covered in
end up with
cannons.
mechanical or something like that. So mechanical. Wait. So mechanical steam-powered shark to fight the big shark.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see. Okay. So we have our event that helps out over here. What's our Quaggan event? We mentioned before the riling people up. Yeah, did you?
Well, yeah, I was thinking if you did the slave preparation training for the revolt before they get captured, because that's what leads up to the Sea Witch being there after she sacrifices them. Maybe some of them could launch, some that weren't immediately sacrificed could launch some sort of attack.
So the thing about that is, remember we said that, and this is where we have to, again, totally things that we have to always take into account. We said before that this event kicks off after the witch is successful in sacrificing her things. She sacrifices all of them, yes.
Okay.
So and so there wouldn't be any prisoners left in there because she sacrificed them all. So training those prisoners. However, training the Quaggan that are here to fight is not a bad thing. That would be an interesting one. Train Quaggan force.
Here's the thing too, Quaggan also have an arc as far as growth within the story.
Yes.
When we first meet them, they are very pacifistic, they are very easily pushed around, but this is a level 50 to 60 area. So about this time, this is where we're pulling together races to be able to fight, and so getting the Quaggan a little more active, a little more capable of dealing with the fact they help out is a good thing.
Yeah, that's
So
an
maybe
interesting.
there's like a passive-aggressive profession you could teach them to learn.
Exactly.
Oh, are you getting it? Something.
We don't know what you got. So.
We have rangers, necromancers, elementalists, and warriors. And 4 other
So far.
professions.
And the rest.
And some more.
So you need help designing?
Believe me, we have ideas.
Giving them, arming the quaggin.
Sharp, pointy sticks.
Sticks can kill you. We saw that in the faction cinematic.
This is true. It's also important to tell them which way to point the stick. Pointy end forward.
Yeah. Okay. So we have training the quaggin. I think there was the goading them into making them angry into hulking out and just sending them in. That's a little meaner.
Those can kind of combine.
Sometimes to do with
What's that?
You first train them and then you make them angry to use their training.
Yes.
Yeah. Angry with the stick.
There was using the shape shifting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah, right there.
oh, okay. Never mind. You wrote that down. You're ahead of me as usual. Okay. Okay. Do we have any of these that sounds like people were pretty into training the task force? Sounds like it's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Question.
Oh, it's just the highlight part. I mean, you said the Maelstrom's going to beat them up lots. I'm going to have to help them rebuild and get prepared for this too. So
Yeah,
they go home from the
Yeah.
war.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that once we decide what our quaggin thing is. But that's totally good point. They will be in somewhat. They will be somewhat beat up when we get up to the highlight. So, okay. So what we're going to do is train our quaggin task force, arm them with something from the area. What do we arm them with?
Oh no.
Maybe you can have the crates drop something when they die, like a sharp spine, and you can arm
Give
the
them great
quaggins
weapons?
with.
Well, the crate do use a lot of weapons. They aren't just they don't just attack with their hands. They use weapons and things like that. So
We could do that. We could have some sort of prop that's some sort of like aggressive like barnacle or some sort of creature that lives down on the lake floor near where the quaggin live, and you have to destroy those, and then a quaggin runs up and picks up a piece of it and runs off, and you have to take enough of them out.
Yeah.
and
Now,
those parts out.
the quaggin do. We do have them they do make tools and things like that. So it's a little bit crude for them too.
Yes.
So it's one thing to remember is that makeshift weapon thing might be a little crude. I'm wondering, like, could you do something like get weapons from the vigil if that camp is established there?
Escort.
So you send weapons over from there. You could,
Yeah. So right, this is build the super weapon. There could also be a guy in here who is an escort weapons here thing.
If you can't escort, then you might need to steal crate weapons.
Yeah. We could see if we could get the artists, see if they have time to do a super armored up quaggin.
Iron quaggin.
And basically, yeah.